All right, day 4, I guess part 5. Here's the heads. Like so, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some brake clean and some Scotch-Brite pads and clean the surface. I've also got my razor blades here. Get the surfaces really nice and clean because these are the mating surfaces, obviously, of the gasket. So I'm gonna clean these up really well. You don't want to use anything too abrasive. So like you're not gonna be sitting here grinding with sandpaper or anything like that, as you need to keep these as level as possible, obviously, and you don't want to take any material off. So I'm gonna hit both of these up. There's both banks like this. We'll get them nice and clean. And then I'll do the same to the block, the top of the block, the mating surface, and then we'll drop the new gaskets on, drop these heads right back in place, and continue to rebuild from there. I'm not going to do anything with regard to well, I'll talk about that in a second, but basically when I go to put the rockers back on and set the lash and everything like that, I'm going to wait till I've got the intake manifold and distributor back in place. This way I don't do anything bad with the timing, so everything's still in time. But yeah, let's get these cleaned up. I'll do a little before and after as soon as they're done. All right, quick shot of brake clean and some razor blade later, and the surface looks way better. I don't know if the camera can really show you, but I was able to get a lot of the high spots out and really bring it back down to just a very flat surface and everything like that, and I gave it a good once over. I did the other side of the cylinder too, where it mates with the intake gasket. So let me go ahead and show you. And I already set the new Felpro piece in place. There it is here. It's actually a really good fit. You can see where the water jackets run through and everything like that. It does overhang a little bit until the valley, but that's fine. Actually, I'm okay with that. So yeah, and there's 2 dowels, 1 and 2, that actually hold it in place while you go to set the head back in place. So that's what we're gonna do next, is go and lay it in there. Once we get the heads in place, obviously, we're gonna place a bead of RTV here and there. I've already cleaned them along the front and back edge of the block. But anyway, we'll place that there. What I'd like to do is get both heads in and then start the bolt tightening process. And then move on, obviously, to the rockers and the push rods. So anyway, get the first head settled in there, clean off the block on this side, get the second head on, and then we'll start talking about bolting them down. All right, got both heads back in there. Sorry, my dog's going ballistic. Got both heads back in there. Once again, it's hard to tell on camera, but I really cleaned the heck out of the mating surface here that goes from the heads to the intake manifold, excuse me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the gaskets for the intake manifold. The heads are actually just resting on their dowels for right now. I'm going to start running the bolts in for the heads, but since these were exposed anyway, I thought I'd go ahead and throw the gaskets on. What's really cool about these Felpro gaskets is they're kind of a composite plastic here, and they've got the blue, like sealable, like rubber seal on it like this. And let me see, I haven't put the other one on because I wanted to show you. They're really well designed because they have little plastic bosses or dowels, however you want to call them, that are raised up that actually fit perfectly into the little slots on the head itself. So they actually hold themselves in place, which is nice because obviously that intake manifold is quite heavy, so you don't want it to slip and slide down. It's actually a really good feature. I did intake manifold gaskets on my 81 Camaro, and it didn't have those, and it was just really impossible to keep the gasket from not moving while you're putting the manifold in place. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the other one in place. I'm going to go and get the other one mounted like this. I'm going to start running the bolts in. But what I want to show you, and I'm sure you already know, but you never reuse head bolts. So these are all the old ones. I don't know why I actually kept them in the pile. I'm going to throw them in the trash in a second. But I've got the new ones. They already come Teflon coated, so they won't deteriorate in the water jackets, like so. These are the Felpro. I showed you the part number already, but just in case you missed it the first video, there it is there. As I said before, make sure you order 2 because each one is for each bank of the heads. So one kit is only going to get you 1 bank. So I've got the other one over here. But I'm going to start running those in, and I'll talk about the torque sequence in a second. But yeah, let's keep moving on. It's nice to see stuff actually coming off of this table instead of being put onto it. All right, I got all 13 bolts loosely put in there. You want to check online for the torque specs. I've got them to hand, but they're over in the other side there. And so what you want to do though is actually tighten them in kind of a spiral pattern like this. So don't just do all the top long ones and then all the bottom short ones. You want to go ahead and start near the center and work your way out in a spiral pattern like this, so that you're applying even pressure rather, down on the head as it comes down. If you tighten in one spot and then go to tighten others, it might actually distort the head and not seat properly. So yeah, with both, start in the middle and work out across the 3 rows, because there's 1, 2, 3 rows of bolts. Make sure you do it that way to get a good seat on the head. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and then we'll talk about next steps with regard to attaching the stuff that goes in the back of the heads. There's 2 bolts that go there, 2 bolts that go over there. And then I will move on to the RTV plus the intake manifold. All right, now we're cooking with gas. So the heads, both heads are bolted, torqued down. The best source I could find said 65 pound-feet on all of the 13 bolts for either side, obviously. So did so. What I did is I laid a bead of RTV. You can see some of it coming out right there. Bead of RTV underneath the lower intake manifold. Drop that in. So I believe there are 8 bolts putting that in place there. And then there's the ground strap back there that's attached to the passenger head, and there's 2 more that went into the back over here, one holding the fuel lines, another one holding a cable of some kind. Anyway, so there's 2 in the back, 2 in the back. But yeah, we're getting there. So next steps, I've actually went ahead and test fitted one of the new headers here. So they came with new gaskets and hardware. They've got really small heads on them. I'm not a huge fan of the replacement bolts they give, but there are washers for the front and back. You can see, and you can't really see the other one. There it is, just there. Anyway, so they fit really well actually, and they line up with the secondary air injection system, which I hate, but I'm not going to delete because I don't want any check engine lights on. And yeah, they're nice. They've got plenty of space in there, especially space to get the spark plugs in there, which I'm really pleased with. The other ones were huge and bulky, so not a big fan of that. And they should produce a better sound. I haven't put this right one in, or the driver's side one in yet. That'll go in next. But starting tomorrow, I'm gonna give the RTV 24 hours to set up. I don't want to try and fire it when it's the least bit, not set up. So tomorrow what I'm gonna do is I am going to put in the valves first thing. I've still got my box O valves over there, like so. We'll put the valves in, tighten them down, and make sure they are not loose, what is it, we'll lash them down. We'll tighten them on there, and then valve covers go on, other header, and then everything on top. So the only major complication I'm still worried about beyond the valves is I had to take the lower steering shaft out to get the headers out. So I'm gonna have to, obviously I'm gonna put the steering shaft back in, but it actually goes in between 2 of the pipes on the headers, so that'll be a do. But anyway, I'm actually really pleased to get back to this point. So yeah, as always, thanks for following along. And then hopefully tomorrow will be the concluding video in the series.